Melanie Joly not in the race. Your thoughts?
Look, I actually really admire her, and I'll also add Dominic LeBlanc. I mean, look, the most important thing right now is Canada's sovereignty, Canada's interests, Canada's jobs, Canada's workers. And so while we do need to choose a new Liberal leader, we also need a strong front bench in government that can defend our interests. And I think both Dominic LeBlanc and Melanie Joly probably wanted to run. And so I think it's really an admirable decision because I know how hard they work and I know they understand how important this is. And I was there at Trump one and with them, and it was really hard. And this is going to be even more disruptive, and it could not be more important that we have good people there.
The idea of strong female candidates, Chrystia Freeland potentially, also possibly Christy Clark, the former Premier of British Columbia. As you know, a long-time member of the Liberal Party of Canada, you were there when Justin Trudeau was elected. You know, the idea of a cabinet that's gender balanced as well. The importance to you of having strong female contenders in this race to take over.
Well, the good news is we do. Look, I think it's really important. I'm a woman. I care greatly about strong representation of women, but it looks like we'll have both Krista Freeland and Christy Clark, and maybe Anita and others as I look at the screen. So that's really great news. But what is most important is who is the best person. What keeps me up at night is really Donald Trump and tariffs and Canada's economy and also geopolitics. And we need someone extremely serious. And the reality is, I think that Donald Trump will eat Pierre Poilievre's lunch, and that is terrible for Canadians. And so I'm looking for a strong leader that can defend Canada's interests, but also has an intimate understanding of Canada's economy and trade, and also has strong relationships globally, because we're going to have to pull together with our allies. Look, I hope we can talk some sense, with Donald Trump about how important our economy is to their economy, and how when you say a 25% tariff, that's 25% more than Americans are going to be paying. But I don't know. And right now, when you listen to his rhetoric, we don't need Canadian automobiles. We don't need Canadian agricultural products. We don't need Canadian energy. That is threatening our jobs, our economy, our workers. And then layered on that, as Melanie Joly said, and you can see she's quite emotional about it, as am I, he's talking about Canada as a 51st state. We are in a very existential sounds too strong. I want us to be calm, but this is an extremely serious time, and the Liberal Party needs to come together and choose the best person. So there's a real option for Canadians. Because Pierre Poilievre, he seems to be governing in slogans and thinking this election is going to be about carbon pricing. And I'm someone, by the way, as everyone knows, cares greatly about climate change. But this election is actually about Canada. It's about our interests. It's about our sovereignty. It's about our workers. It's about our economy. And of course, it's about, the world and what is going on in very terrible and challenging geopolitics. So we need to choose the best person so Canadians have a real choice.
Who do you think is best suited to take on not just Pierre Poilievre, but Donald Trump?
Well, look, I'm a friend of Mark Carney. I've worked with him here in Canada. I've also worked with him internationally, including on climate change. But I've seen him on the world stage, representing Canada and Canada's interests. I've also seen him. He's very knowledgeable about the economy. And if you look at his experience, he had to deal with Brexit. That was completely bonkers. And so I think he's a very good candidate. He's very experienced globally, but also he understands Canada's economy as a former governor of the Bank of Canada. And I think he's a great contrast to Pierre Poilievre, who has no experience. He's never had a job outside of politics. He's never had to worry about his job. He's got a pension, a government pension. So look, but I think there are good people, and Canadians, well, Liberals first will have to choose, and then whoever's chosen to lead the Liberal Party then will have to fight an election very quickly.
Catherine McKenna, former Environment Minister, Climate Change Minister in the Trudeau government, with her take today as a Liberal leadership race now coming into greater focus. Thanks for taking time for us here at CTV News. As always, Catherine, all the best.
Thanks very much.